rainbow. Why, oh, why can't someday I'll wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me. Oh, and troubles melt like lemon drops way above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, and the dreams that you dare to, dreams really do come true. I feel like we've reached the pot of gold. Here we are at Unity of the Valley. Welcome, everyone. Let's stand and sing our opening congregational together. We're in the right place. We're at the right time. Our soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting a message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting a message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Yes, it is. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Woo! Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting a message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is church loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Right place,
Yeah,
right
yes, it is.
time.
Right time.
Oh, yeah.
Woo, bring it down.
My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here.
The spine.
My soul is welcome here. My soul
Is welcome here. What? My soul is welcome here. Yeah. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here.
Let us pray. Let us join our minds and our hearts in gratitude for this amazing, for the love that brings us together, for this beautiful place where our souls are welcome. We are grateful for our blessings. We are grateful for each other. And we see these blessings multiplying and blessing our greater community and the entire planet. We hold in our hearts and in our minds, especially the people on the islands of the Bahamas right now. We see them protected and safe in the light and power of God. And for all of this, we are grateful. And we say amen.
I'm on, but am I on? I'm always on. I'm Carolyn, your service assistant this morning, and it's wonderful to see my Unity community out here this morning. It feels good to be together again on this Labor Day weekend. I'd like to invite everyone who has a birthday in September to please come forward and receive a very special birthday song and greeting. We do this every month for people who have a birthday in the month. So anybody else? September birthdays. All right.
Birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear family, happy birthday to you. God is blessing you now, God is blessing you now, God is blessing you. You are wonderful. God is blessing you now.
Janet and Ariane, it's great to have you back. Your friends who were here last week were wonderful. We loved them, want them back again, but there's no replacement for you. So welcome home. I'd like to introduce our prayer chaplains as well. We have Warren and Donovan who are here this morning. They will be available to pray with you after the service. And it's a wonderful connection to make. These are beautiful souls, and they have been professionally trained to pray with you. They hold it in confidence. All you have to do is come up here to the front of the room after the service, and they will say a prayer of celebration, any gratitude prayers that you would like to give, or any concern that's heavy on your heart right now. It's beautiful. It's free. That energy lasts all week. You'll be really glad that you took advantage of that. Thank you for being here. I told the sound guys, I'm going to do the clicker this morning. And they said, we'll cover for you. So thank you for covering for me. We have Della, who is here to light the Christ candle this morning. And she is a beautiful little soul who did not hesitate when I asked her. She said, yes, I will. So Della, thank you for doing this for us this morning, and her sister Charlotte. And we light this candle just to remind us that with that innocent, pure love that lies in each heart, all we have to do to bring that into full flame is to turn our attention to it. So Della, thank you for the beautiful reminder that you are. Now, young people and teachers would come forward. We're going to, maybe they're all off camping on Labor Day weekend. Oh, here, we do have a few good. We're going to sing our song once through for all of you, and then we'll let you go off to Sunday school and know that you'll have a wonderful experience. Sound team, why aren't you covering for me? Okay. So Della, we're going to do this for you first, all right? Della, you are a beautiful child of God, perfect in every way. You are loved unconditionally, just the way you are. And now we take that in for ourselves as well. I am a beautiful child of God, perfect in every way. I am loved unconditionally, just the way I am. And now our song. Have a wonderful class, and we'll see you at the end of the service. Thank you. You're welcome to stay. Stay with us. You know, I know that feeling. All is in divine order. So please turn off your cell phones if you haven't already done that. And that way we won't interrupt our wonderful message and meditation and these scintillating announcements. The first one of which is that, to remind you, we have a luau coming up on Saturday. And this is going to be your least expensive trip to Hawaii that you will ever take. Hawaiian songs, Hawaiian dancers, Hawaiian food, and it's all for the low cost of $20. Children will eat for free. 6 o'clock right here, so I hope many of you will be able to come. The weather's going to be perfect. It's going to be Hawaiian weather, 80s, just right. And then our fall program begins September 15th. And sign-ups are available in the Great Hall. So if you have participated before, you know what an important time this is to make connections with the members of our spiritual community here. And if you have friends or neighbors, anybody who has a respect and knowledge of Deepak Chopra, please invite them in. This is a wonderful introduction to the way we approach spiritual principles in a really open-hearted, open-minded way. Discussion, all questions are welcome, non-judgmental. It's a beautiful experience. And so if you haven't signed up yet, we're still taking sign-ups, yes, in the Great Hall here. So invite your friends. Make sure that you find your own place, your own time of the week and place to come. And it's a great way to get to know each other better and to deepen our spiritual awareness. The book is called The Book of Secrets, and everybody likes Deepak Chopra, so I know it'll be a wonderful experience. We have a new Earth Care Committee, which is such an important effort to help heal our planet and do what we can. You know, so many of us wonder, what can I do? And the Earth Care Committee is showing up to help us sort that out. Small gestures, large gestures we can take that will protect our planet and make us find some comfort that we are doing what we can. And they want to remind you that there is a coastal cleanup coming Saturday, September 21st, and there are many opportunities to participate in that activity. And there's more information about other ways to be involved in other activities that we can participate in the Great Hall. Are you getting the idea that the Great Hall is the place to go? On your way to the refreshments, just stop by before, during, or after, because there's a wealth of information there, all kinds of flyers and people to talk to. Our Unity Day of Prayer is Thursday, the 12th. And this is an international event. People from all over the world are gathering to pray. Many of you, I'm sure, have received in the mail a prayer list and information about this from Unity Worldwide Headquarters. Anyone can come. Our prayer chaplains will be here from noon until 6 that day. And it's, you know how when we gather together, there is a certain energy that we generate, and that's the way this prayer day is. All over the world to share that is a really beautiful experience. And then coming here together just intensifies that experience. So if you can come anytime for half an hour, as long as you would like, Thursday the 12th. Another prosperity class is beginning, and this is an exciting opportunity. It's kind of the initial offering of this class, which would probably cost about $150 if you took it online. But it's $100 here. Is that what you were gesturing me for? Slide. Thank you. Sound team is covering for me. Now that's just how it should happen. This is led by our own Reverend Dalia, and it's going to be Tuesday evenings from 6 to 8. The cost is $100. If you apply for a scholarship, you can get the cost down to $50. But $100 for this kind of experience is really nothing. It's going to be a joyful reminder about what prosperity is and how to align yourself with the principles so that you can experience an abundant life on all levels. And so Reverend Dalia is a gifted teacher, and she knows this stuff, and I can't imagine anyone better to study with. So help launch this brand new class. You can register for the course on our website, or you can contact Teresa in the office. And more information about these and all the other activities is out on the table. Now, this is about they call it an email blast. Okay, I'm old and I don't know all these newfangled terms, but Is that right? An email blast? Okay, have a blast. And all the pictures on the website are connected to information about that event, which is being pictured. And so it's user-friendly. They have been working hard on this website. The streaming is up and going. It's so much better, 100% improved. And this site has information that you don't want to miss. So you don't have to just depend on your bulletin anymore. You don't have to worry about taking notes on important things. All you have to do is get online, and you can register to buy tickets. So the weekly email blast changes every week, and it's available to all of us. If you need help for that, see the instruction sheet that's available on the table in the Great Hall. And now, do I have all of your attention? Listening really carefully? Our greeting time is going to be a little bit different this morning. In an effort to make it especially meaningful and heartful, aligned with Dalia's talk this morning, we are asking you to simply put your hands together. No hugging. Can you do this? Put your hands together. Hugging afterwards, and we have permission to hug after the service in the Great Hall. So we're putting our hands together and we're looking each other in the eyes, which is really very moving. The windows of the soul. And we are saying, I behold the divine in you, or I behold the Christ in you. You see, you still have a choice. All right?
Let's stand and sing together. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. All is beautiful. All is well. All is beautiful. All is well. One more time. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. All is beautiful. All is well. All is beautiful. All is well. Let's greet our neighbors.
all that love and that recognition of the divine in each other. We just hold that for a moment, knowing that spark of divinity is alive and well in each one of us, and that no matter what is happening all through this week, we remember that there is only God, and God is good all the time. So let's make this affirmation together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God the Good.
Apron on. It's like someone turned a light on in my heart. Ricky has a hand in his. He gives her a mental kiss. Everyone can see their bliss in their hearts. And don't you know it's like
Someone turn the light on
in my heart.
Someone turn the light on Someone turn the light on
My heart. She lives right above me. She's got some graceful energy, radiating light to see from her heart.
Someone turn the light on
In my heart.
Someone turn the light on
Somebody.
Someone turn the light on.
Yes, I did.
Someone turn the light on.
Shining, shining.
Someone turn the light on. Someone turn the light on.
On top of everything else, we do acrobatics here on the platform. Thank you for that amazing song. Let's give them another hand. You know, over and over, I have this experience with Narian and Janet where the song that they create or bring right before the message is so much more perfect than I could ever even imagine. And there's one of those moments of knowing that there is so much more going on here than meets the eye, right? That there is a power and a presence. There is a divine intelligence that orchestrates what happens here in this community far beyond anything that we could sit down and plan out. It's just amazes me. And it's one of those moments of awakening to oneness. That's what we've been focusing on all year, that process of awakening. Because that oneness is never missing. The oneness is always the truth of who we are and the truth of what is. There is always one power and one presence, and wherever we are, that power and presence is. So it is not ours to create it. It is ours to awaken to it. And turning the light on is perfect, right? When someone turns the light on, all of a sudden we see and we know that which we might have forgotten. Today I want to talk about the oh wow of that. I don't know about you, but when those moments happen for me, those moments of, oh, there's something really profound happening here. There's an oh wow that wells up from deep inside of me. How many people have experienced that? Yeah. Or if you haven't experienced it, can imagine that. So if you've experienced it or can imagine it, raise your hand. Okay, so everyone's hands went up except Vic's, but but we know he knows, right? Oh wow. So this picture is one you saw last week. It's a Silomar, and that's one of the places that I spent a little bit over a week on retreat. And I walked that beach. Different times of day in different light. Sometimes there was nobody there, and sometimes there were dogs and children and people playing. But there were repeated moments, those moments of feeling that presence and that power that is God in my life, and just knowing and experiencing that presence and knowing that I was one with that. So there were many oh wows that I experienced over those 8 days. And then sometimes the beach looks like this when the sun is setting. And this is actually Dillon Beach, which is much closer to us. And I stand there and I watch the sun going down. And our projectors really do not do justice to the beauty of that sunset. But it's amazing, and I feel the rhythm and the energy of the ocean, and I experience the horizon and that sun going down, and that same oh wow wells up inside of me. Or this is that same sunset a little while later, and again, it doesn't do it justice, but the whole sky was lit up orange with a blue background, and then the waves were coming in. And maybe beaches are not your oh wow. You know, maybe it's music or poetry or holding babies or gardening. We all have something that brings up that sense of knowing the divine presence. And for me, it's not just beaches. There's many different things that remind me, that turn the light on, if you will, and awaken me to that truth. I love here in California being able to go to forests that are, it doesn't even have to be the old redwoods, but just redwoods, and walking among such majestic trees. It's like, wow. I don't know what other word. It's just a wow that comes up from the very depth of my being. Or this was on that retreat in southern Washington State. And there were fields of tall grass with paths mowed, so you could just walk and walk. And it was the last day, and I was taking a walk, and this deer was in the grass. And I stopped, and she wasn't afraid of me, and I wasn't afraid of her. And we stood there, and our eyes met, and we just looked at each other. And she was sweet enough to allow me to pull out my phone and to take this picture of her. And again, when I see this, it was that connection, that eye contact, and that same oh wow wells up. Isn't she pretty? I mean, isn't she really pretty? Oh, and this is a path near where I live. I walk every morning with Teddy there, and I don't know how many mornings I had walked, and this tree was always there, and it didn't have flowers on it. And one morning I came, and it was filled with these white and red flowers that looked like little feather tips. And it was windy that morning, so the whole tree was waving back and forth. And these two buds stood still enough, long enough for me to get this picture. Isn't that a no wow? And just the knowing that life is created in this way, and one day it's not there, and then it blossoms, it opens, and there's infinite possibilities contained in each one of those little seeds, right? Or this, you can't see that well on this projector, but it's a herd of cows walking over the hills. And the backdrop is Point Reyes. And again, there's wows, that sense of, this is more than words, folks. There is truly an infinite presence and power. There is really that which we call God or Spirit or the universe, and it fills every moment, every nook and cranny. God is just as present in those long tunnels that I sometimes drive through, and they look dark and dreary, as God is present among those cows that are walking over the hills. The difference is in me. I usually forget to awaken to God's presence in the tunnels. But in nature, or in some place that awakens my sense of that which is beautiful, I instantly experience that. I am so grateful to the people that put cameras on phones. No, I am really so grateful. It has changed my life experience because, we always carry our phones these days. And so that means I always carry my camera. And when I carry my camera, I look for those things that inspire me. I look for those moments that I'm filled with spirit and I want to take a picture. So what happens is I become more aware. And I will awaken many more times a day than I used to before I carried my camera on me at all times. Because it's a matter of remembering, it's a matter of awakening, and it's a matter of finding a practice that helps me remember. So I am so profoundly grateful to whoever came up with that idea. It has deepen my spiritual understanding in ways that I can't begin to describe. And this, again, the projector doesn't do it justice, is a picture of the clouds around the star constellation Pleiades. And I have to confess, I didn't take pictures, so. But I liked it. The stars inspire me, and my camera won't take pictures of stars, so I borrow this one. But it's wow. Look that up online. It's really a beautiful picture. The clouds over Pleiades. Has everybody heard of Pleiades? It's a constellation in a different galaxy. If you own a Subaru, those 7 stars are the emblem on the Subarus. So if you don't know what it is, go look at someone's Subaru. Or it doesn't have to be nature. That's the skyline of Vancouver, British Columbia. There's a little island within the city. And my son and his family live on that island, so I go walking along, and that's the skyline. I mean, it's just like, wow, you know. The creativity that flows through people is the creativity, the creative power that is God, and we get things like this out of it. William Blake wrote a poem, "To see a world in a grain of sand and heaven in a wildflower. Hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour." That's what he was writing about, the way these moments in physical time break through and allow us to see beyond the veil. Allow us to know the God that is ever. Bottom line is, when we see and know God in this way, the only appropriate response that I can think of is, oh wow. And what else can you say other than maybe be speechless in awe, right? And to feel that oh wow within us. So this morning, I'd like everybody to think back to earlier this morning, to the first time you looked in a mirror. Close your eyes and think back to that moment. And I'd like you to remember what came up inside of you, what you felt, what words, what thoughts went through your mind. You don't have to share it, but how many people looked in the mirror and said, oh, wow. And that sense of the divine breaking through just overwhelmed you and inspired you. Raise your hands. Oh, come on. Don't we believe that we're one with God? How many people believe that we are one with God, that the divine shines through us? All right, so how many people looked in the mirror and said, oh, wow. We've got some work to do, folks. I've told this story before, but I know not everyone has heard it. So those that have heard it, please bear with me. But once upon a time, I had a bird. Actually, my son had a bird for about 3 weeks, and then he went to college. And then her name was Kona. That is actually a portrait of Kona. It's a photograph of an acrylic painting of Kona. My son painted that portrait. I have to tell a story on myself. It has nothing to do with this talk, and it's a total distraction, but I want to tell it anyway. So I was putting together the slides for this talk yesterday, and it was evening, and I was getting a little bit tired, but, it was getting toward the end, but I had a problem. My computer had crashed a few weeks before, and I lost many, many files, a lot of which I retrieved, but I could not find the slides that had the picture of Kona, because I've done this for another talk a while ago. And I looked and I looked through all my PowerPoint, and then I pulled out my flash drives where I had copies of my files, couldn't find the PowerPoint. And then I thought, well, I'll look in the picture file. Maybe I have the original pictures. And I went through the picture file, and I went through two or three backup floppy disks, and I'm not finding this picture of the photograph of Kona. And the whole time I knew I could go online and just clip a picture of a blue and gold macaw, but I wanted you to see the actual portrait that was painted. And so after a couple hours of this, I'm over there, well, I guess I just can't do it. And then it hit me that the portrait was hanging on my kitchen wall. Oh, wow. So I walked over with my little camera. That's why moments of inspiration are so precious, right? So anyway, the story behind that portrait is, well, before I even do that, I want, for those who haven't heard this, to know that this bird, Kona, is a blue and gold macaw, and research has shown that they have the equivalent IQ to a 3 or 4-year-old child. That's where they test. So what I was experiencing with her, because I didn't know about birds, she was teaching me. And I strongly got the sense that there were many times that when she spoke, she knew what she was saying. And then to have that borne out by research and the people who study them made me feel good, because it felt a little woo-woo to me, because I went into my experience with her thinking that she was like a parrot. She just said back to you what you said to her. One of the first times I realized she knew that there were many times that she knew what she was saying was Christmas time, and she was just starting to talk. She was a little, maybe 3 years old, a little bit older. And she was on her perch. She had a perch kind of like the height of those microphones. And the Nutcracker Suite was playing in the background. Does everyone know what the Okay. It's very melodic, and, and it's a happy music, and there are many tracks, and she was listening to them, and she was dancing to the music. She was stretching her wings and then the other way, and her head was high, and she was swaying to the music in perfect time, in perfect rhythm, and she looked so happy. One track ended, and the very next one was the battle scene. And that's the only piece that's not melodic and happy. And so this battle scene music started, and these clashing noises. She stopped dancing, and her head was kind of shaking, and she was looking around. And she finally stopped, and on top of her lungs yelled, "Stop it! I said stop it!" I had never taught her to say that. I mean, there were times when I said to her, "Stop it," but that combination and the timing, I'm like, oh. So I started paying attention to what she said. So the day that I got the gift of this portrait, it came wrapped in brown paper with a ribbon around it, and I was unwrapping it. The portrait is about this big. I was unwrapping it, and Kona was on a perch just behind me, and I could see her. And I unwrapped it and was holding this portrait of Kona, and I saw her reaction. Instantly, her eyes got big. She spread her wings. She bent down, and she said, "Oh, wow, hello, Kona." I felt in that moment like I had been punched in the stomach. My whole body reacted to that because I knew instantly that if that had been a portrait of me, there is no way on earth I would have been able to say, oh, wow, hello, Dalia. I did not have that in me. I also knew in that instant that that was the heart of my spiritual journey for the rest of my life. To get to that place that my bird did so naturally, that knew so easily to say, oh, wow, in response to herself. I also knew, I was working as a psychologist then, that the people who were coming to see me in my private practice, it really didn't matter what issue they were coming with. It really didn't matter if there was a diagnosis or not. It really didn't matter what symptoms they were describing. I mean, all of those got tweaked in one way or another, but that the heart of the journey that I was supporting them in was the journey to know that they were an expression of the divine, and that the only appropriate response to each of them was, oh, wow. Oh, wow. I believe that that is at the heart of all of our journeys. Because just like God is ever present in the tunnels as well as at the sunsets, it's ours to develop a practice of awakening to it and knowing that presence, that power in all things. But most of all, to know that power and that presence that expresses through us in each and every moment. And if, oh wow, is the only appropriate response to the presence of God, then oh wow is the appropriate response to ourselves, right? And it is a journey, isn't it? It's a journey. Like I said, we have some work to do. So going forward, this is the goal in the morning. When you get up and you first see yourself, that your heart just opens up, your soul is just overflowing, and from deep within you, just like with Kona, comes an, oh wow, oh wow. For you are looking at the face of God in that moment. You are looking at the light of God shining through you. You are looking at the divine light. You are looking at spark of God. Some people say it that way. But we have to be careful when we say a spark of God, because that implies we can take God and divide God up into little bits and everybody gets a little tiny bit of God. How many people are there? About 25 billion? 30 billion? So we get 1/30 of a billion of God? No. That's God is not physical stuff that can get broken down. God is consciousness. God is intelligence. God is wisdom. God is light. God is love. God is infinite potential, and all of God is available to us. All of God is expressing through us. Our ability to know that God presence is what makes it feel small. You know, God is magnificently, infinitely, all present within us, always. And it is ours to awaken to that amazing truth. I can't read that, so I have to look this up. So as we're saying, oh wow, use two hands here. Yeah, okay. So one of the things is tool for getting there to a practice. And it's what we say here at this service every Sunday. I am a beautiful child of God, perfect in every way. And what made me think that this might be a really good tool to use to get there is something that Adele taught me. Adele is about 6 years old now. When she was about 3, she came up for the first time and lit the Christ candle, 2 or 3. And I was so amazed by her confidence and her joy. And she stood there just beaming as we blessed her with this blessing. And she knew the words and she said the blessing back. And after the service, I went up to Adele and I said, Adele, you did such a great job lighting the Christ candle. And she looked up at me. She goes, I know. She has it, you know? She has it. I mean, how many of us are able to take in a compliment and look at someone and say, I know? Yeah? So the imp in me says to Adele, so do you want to do a talk sometime soon? Also, she got serious and she thought about it and looked up and said, yes. I talked to Mike, I shared this story, and he said, you know, every morning when she gets up and looks at the mirror, we say this together, and she learns to say this to herself as she's looking in the mirror. I am a beautiful child of God, perfect in every way. And she says it every morning as a practice, and it's become a part of how she knows Adele. So if it's worked for Adele, because it's hard to get up and say, okay, I'm going to generate an oh wow. Those oh wows come up spontaneously. But we can have a practice, and that's a beautiful affirmation. There are others. You know, I am the breath of God. God is breathing through me right now. I am an expression of the perfect life of God. God and I are one. Whatever affirmation would work for you to help you remember who you are. I recommend that as a practice. Because we look in the mirror anyway, we may as well turn it into something really beautiful. And then my thought is if we do this often enough, one morning we'll get up, look in the mirror, and say, oh, wow. Together? Oh, wow. Yeah. And from Rumi, you know how we talk about the metaphor of God as the ocean and we are a drop in the ocean, one with God. But what Rumi has to say about that is you are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. As Rumi knew that we don't divide up God, that the allness of God expresses through us, even as we are just that one drop. Right? Namaste. I behold the divine in each and every one of you.
Oh, wow.
breathing you in this very moment. Notice each breath. Notice how it feels when you breathe in and you breathe out. Notice each breath taking you deeper within, deep into that sacred space where you experience the presence of God. That sacred space within you where your entire being says, "Oh, wow." I invite you to rest in that sacred space. In the silence, rest in the presence of God. I am the entire ocean in a drop. The allness of God breathes through me right now. Holding those affirmations in your heart, allow yourself to gently and easily bring your attention back to this room, back to this time, back to this place. Take a nice deep breath. Become fully present right here, right now. When you're ready, open your eyes. Look around and see the amazing light, the divine light that is shining on each and every face. And then join with me in saying, "Oh, wow."
Wow.
Together, "Oh,
Oh,
wow."
wow.
Amen.
There is so much magnificence in the ocean. Waves are coming in.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dalia, for a wonderful talk, reminding us how beautiful our planet is and how beautiful each one of us is. Yeah. And how beautiful you all are. So as we take our tithes and love offerings in our hands, with a renewed awareness of how important this community is and how much we sustain each other and remind each other of the beauty that we are and the world is. Let's bless these gifts with the affirmation that's before us together now. God's love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am and have, all that I give and receive. I am grateful.
Jordan, picking up passengers from coast to coast. All you need is faith to hear the diesel coming. Don't need no baggage, you just get on board. One love, one heart, let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart, give thanks and praise to the Lord, and we'll feel alright. Let them laugh all that crazy remarks. There is one question that I'd really like to ask you. Is there a place for the hopeless sinner? Did everything just to save his own. One heart, let's get it together and feel alright. Feel alright. Feel it. One heart, give thanks and praise to the Lord, and we'll feel alright. All you need is faith to hear the diesel coming. Don't need no ticket, you just get on board. One love, one heart, let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart, give thanks and praise to the Lord, and we'll feel alright. One love, one heart, let's get together and feel alright. Whoa, 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 whoa. One heart, give thanks and praise to the Lord, and we'll feel alright. together and feel alright. Get together and feel alright. Get together and feel alright. Get together and feel alright. Let's get together and feel
Have gotten together and we feel all right and we're prosperous and joyful and beautiful. Oh, wow. Thank you, God. Let's form a circle and sing our peace song.